Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Everybody Eats show. We got a good one for you today. I sound like Steve Harvey. We really do got a good one for you today. We have Mr. Arrington Gavin. He's here, sitting here with us tonight. So really appreciate you coming on.
Man, thank you so much for having me, fellas. It's an honor. Huge fans of the show. Love the name. Everybody Eats show is meaningful. It truly is meaningful. Don't make everything a competition with people. You win in numbers. So work together, and I just love that everybody eats. So I love that. So thanks again for having me.
Appreciate it for sure. So before we get started, make sure you're following us on all platforms on our YouTube channel, Everybody Eats Show. That's where all our episodes are. We have our one-on-one classes on there. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Everybody Eats Show on Instagram, on TikTok at Everybody Eats Show, and Twitter EBE_show. Yeah.
With that said,
I like to say how we met our guests or found our guests, right? So I've been following your work on Instagram for a little bit, right? But again, I don't have a beard, so I was like, okay, like I just haven't like made that contact, but like I saw it, but like I've seen you on Instagram, and then what was it? It was like a few months ago. Like we went to go get a cut. Like we go to the same barber. And then like he told Edem about you, and he was like, yo, you gotta go check out Rugged.
Yeah, and I texted him,
and then Edem messaged me. Then like not too long after, like I got a cut the same day. Oh, did we lose you? Good. I lost him.
Oh,
good.
Okay.
Good. All right. Lit. So yeah, so we went to go get a cut. Barber told Edem about like, yo, you gotta go check out Rugged. So like Edem texts me. I go to the barber the same day. He was like, yo, bro, gotta go check out Rugged. Like you gotta go check out his work. I'm like, all right, bet. Like still like two people in the same day. So then like I think like not too long after that, that's why I messaged you on Instagram. I was like, all right, yo, bro, like I pretty much like, yo, I've been following you. Like my barber just told me that you gotta go reach out. So I was like, for sure, gotta go reach out. And then here we are. So I'll be saying this all the time on the podcast. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like you never know like who's going to respond, when they're going to respond. Either a DM or an email goes a long way. That's how we get.
If you get curved, you get curved. But chances are that it hits. It hits.
Exactly.
At least in our case.
Exactly. It hits. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Either word of mouth or just send a message. That's how you found people. So here we are. That's how you network.
Well, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about that because that makes me feel it makes me feel good when not one but two people let y'all know about that. I mean, hey, that got me blushing over here. Y'all can't. That got me blushing over here
for sure. So that's how we network. So, all right, if we could get into today's episode, if you could introduce yourself a little bit further, who you are, what do you do, where you from, and then we get the conversation started.
Awesome. Well, my name is Arrington Gavin. I'm the founder, CEO of Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Well, founder of Rugged Evolution Incorporated, which my first love is Rugged Evolution Beard Care. So all natural men's grooming line offers over 16 scented beard balms, beard oils, conditioning shampoos, a full line of accessories, cleansing soap bars. It's a full line of men's grooming line. We're in about 6 local owned stores in the Hampton Roads area, Walmart, Amazon, We Buy Black, other omni-channel sites. I've been doing that for about 5 years. Started, I have my own foundation, Rugged Evolution Foundation, where we help youth, male adolescents. We focus on youth. I'm all about improving or just helping youth males, learning that there's other options when it comes to just, in life, and, teaching them, certain traits in business and stuff like that. Also, I have a podcast as well, our Smooth Club podcast, a show where everyday men discuss everyday topics, where we we try to be like shows like everybody eats. Okay, we're almost there. It's not quite, but almost. But and then also co-owner of a Rugged Evo Trucking, something I invested in last year. Right now we're with one rig, but I'm really close to getting to my second rig and maybe potentially getting a third before the end of the year. Born and raised in Chesapeake, went to school in really all my life in Norfolk. Started in elementary school at a Calvary Christian. Then from there went to from 6 to 12 went to Norfolk Christian. And then after graduating high school, attended Chowan University, located in Murfreesboro, North Carolina. If y'all don't know where that's at, that's okay, because it's a small town, like 1,500. But you know, that was the place that accepted your boy, because the grades weren't the best. But I can't complain. It had met a lot of great people. Ended up meeting my fiance there. Majored in health and wellness, and yeah, I think that's pretty much that now. Still in Chesapeake. I'm a proud Chesapeakean. Love my city. And that's pretty much a little bit about me currently right now.
For sure. No, that's a lot. So, first thing you said, you majored in health and wellness. So I want to ask, like, has that always been your thing? Has that always been your goal? It seems like being hygiene, care, health, wellness. Has that always been your thing? Was that like your vision?
No, actually, honestly, really, health and wellness was a passion. But I'll break it real talk to you. My true passion has always been radio broadcasting. I've always loved radio. I love conversating with people. I love talking to people. I feel like you can take care of so many of the world's problems by just having a simple sit down, talking amongst each other's. I've always loved radio. And that was really my first thing I wanted to major was radio broadcasting. Chowan University never offered a communications major. So I said, well, what's my second love? I always had a passion for the human body as well, taking care of myself internally as well as externally. So I said, let me pursue health and wellness and possibly going into athletic training. And once I actually graduated, I worked in physical therapy for about 3.5 years, at the same period of when I was working with my business. And so I kind of, it kind of still led me into a good career path, but it wasn't my true calling. But really, taking the human body is still much of a passion, because we got to take care of it, especially after recovering from the pandemic. I mean, it's just the first thing you hear is if you're what's the word I'm looking for? If you have pre-existing conditions,
like high risk or whatever.
High risk, exactly. So, it's tough, but we all definitely have to, especially as African Americans, we definitely have to take care of our bodies and watch what we eat. We gotta stay away from the sugar and sodium and stuff like that. So we have to take care of ourselves. So yeah, it still is a passion, but I wouldn't say it was my true calling was health and wellness.
Got it. Okay. So then how does that lead into starting like Rugged? I guess, like, what's the story behind that?
So
a beard growing.
See, there you go. See, hey, teacher, talk to the boy now. Talk to him. He gotta come correct. But I actually started growing facial hair at a young age. I started growing like facial hair at age 14. Okay. And in middle school, when you realize like you're like the only kid that can grow facial hair, you either think two things: okay, I'm a freak, or I'm just one special dude and lucky because hey, I can grow facial hair, y'all can't. but I started growing facial hair at the age of 14. But like I said, I attended a private school where they actually had the rule to prohibit facial hair. We had a no facial hair policy, so they will send us to the nurse's office. They will legit give like the shave. They will almost do like a shave it off. And like I was the minority, so my skin wasn't like my classmates, right, or my friends' skin. So eventually I had to get the dermatologist. I'm like, look, I'm 14. I never use a straight razor. I can't put a straight razor on my skin. Yeah. So really when fast forward to my freshman year in college, I kind of said, bump it. I'm gonna grow up my beard. I'm gonna grow up my hair. You're trying to find yourself when you're in college. You're alone. Well, not alone, but you're on your own. And I started growing facial hair, still really not knowing what beard maintenance was. I just assumed that, products I put on, my scalp, I can just apply on my face. So I was really kind of clueless when it came to beard maintenance. Fast forward again to my sophomore year, I realized I'm like, all right, look, I gotta do something about this because wasn't looking pleasant as I thought it was. It wasn't looking as cool. I started getting, irritations like, flakiness. It was hard to comb it out. And it just didn't look good. So I said, you know what, I gotta start, checking out beard care products. I started purchasing, again, clueless dude. I started purchasing beard care products left and right. Some were okay, a lot weren't okay. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a college student, no job. I gotta stop spending my allowance money, really, my turn up money on a month-to-month basis. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do my own research and I'm gonna gather up recipes. And when I was probably like an hour and a half away from where I lived, from my home. So every time I would like go on a weekend, I'll head home and I'll start whipping up in the kitchen. And if I had extra batches, hey, I hit up my close friends that were also new in the beer community. I had cousins that also, knew. So I'm like, okay, let me, give them some of that. And you always hear, one person say, man, that stuff is really good. And you just like, yeah, it's good, but I mean, what am I gonna do with it? And then you hear another person, I'm like, I'm like, okay. Now I was very blessed. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. My mother, she's an associate broker. She's in real estate. She's been doing that for about 34 years. She's also owned a couple businesses. My father, he retired firefighter. He's also owned a cleaning business, and my parents flip on the side. So entrepreneurship was installed in me. I just never knew what direction it was going to lead me to. So once I see, get the great responses from my friends, and then I started looking around campus, and I start seeing different, nationalities, ethnicities, different beard styles, goatees, mustaches, you name it. I'm like, okay, I see a lot of people. And then it was weird. I think I was watching like the Oscars, some award show, and I started seeing every male presenter with a beard. So I'm like, could this be a market? So for me, I'm thinking like the outcome, because for me, if I invest in something, I gotta see it being profitable, and I have to see it like being not a one-hit wonder. Like I have to see it being long lasting. So I saw that it was I started seeing it was not becoming not just a trend but a movement. And from there on, I called my parents and I said, look, I think I want to start my own business. I want to start beer care. And starting in my sophomore year, I've already started, building up my recipes, but I started working on my business plan from sophomore year really until graduation. And it was great because it was times where it was like I had some time in my hand. I'm just always in my journal, just writing ideas. It was moments where I couldn't hang out with my friends, partying, which that was tough because you always want to have a good time, right? But I knew I'm always like, it's not about the time, but it's about the grind you put in. So I'm like, this is my moments of putting, grinding, working early, and things like that. So that's really, once I graduated, August of 2017, I started attending small vending shows, just to kind of build up that clientele. I'm a shy person, as weird as it sounds, because I could talk your head off, 24/7. But like, I'm a very shy person. I hate public speaking. But I knew that in order for me to be successful, I have to, preach to the masses. I have to come in contact with people, and hey, if I want to see my brand build, and if I don't show that confidence, I'm gonna be a broke man, and I'm gonna just, hey, I'm gonna be my only client. So I started to attend small vending shows. Some people attended, some people rarely attended, but I just knew that was my practice. And then I launched my online store November of 2017, and since then we continue to grow, and we've been very fortunate.
Got it. How's the, I guess, market you find? Is it like a lot of times you hear about like a saturated market? So I'm interested, like, is the beard care market like saturated?
I would say it is. It's still to me a very thriving market. I mean, it's I put it in the group of well, for one retail, two appearance. Everybody, appearance is a huge market when it comes to makeup, when it comes to the health and beauty. I mean,
It's always
beard
changing.
care.
It's always
Oh
changing.
yeah, absolutely,
It's always
absolutely.
changing.
I mean, men's grooming alone, they're in the same field as the hair industry. The hair industry is a damn near $1 trillion industry. I mean, it is growing industry, and convention, and you'd be like, whoa, look at all these, and it's needed and it's an essential as well. It was the cool thing about it is there's so many that I come across, either retired military that says, hey, I just retired, I want to grow my beard, or I have clients from 18 to 70 that are like, say, look, I got this beard. My wife thinks it's cute. She liking it, so I want to see what I can do to keep it up. That when the fellas hear what the ladies talking and they get confidence, they like, okay, look, I
Yeah,
gotta get
yeah,
some more of this stuff, or I gotta, do something with this. And it's just, or it starts off with a like a no shave November, right? That could be the start of something new for someone,
yeah, yeah.
or um, different, monthly, trends and stuff like that, but or traditions. But yeah, it's definitely continuing to grow. I mean, you see a lot of well known, and I say that too because one of the top tier people in really the hair industry is Shea Moisture. If y'all familiar with Shea Moisture, and that's really for women's hair care, but it's a gentleman created that. He's the founder. He's also, I think, part owner of the either Ebony or Essence magazine, and he just started his own brand of beard care product because he sports a beard,
Mm.
and it just started, I believe, maybe a couple years ago. And you have some higher up companies that are just at the peak with that. See Rick Ross, of course, he's had to start his own line of of course, I mean it works with it, and other companies do, and they start seeing, okay, this is picking up. So it's a growing market. It's
Yeah.
truly a growing market. And um when it comes to appearance, everybody, they want to look good, they want to feel good, and make sure that they're taking care of their self, taking care of themselves, not just internally but externally.
So, and
So, I mean, what was the trickiest part about getting started? I mean, I don't know the entire process. I mean, if you could, list out the process and maybe what you found was the most trickiest part. Like, how do you find a scent people might like, or like all the
Oh
trial
man,
and error?
you know what, honestly, I that stuff was the easiest.
Really?
The paperwork wise, as far as like starting a business, LLC and stuff, that's the stuff that to me gets tricky because uh, I'm pretty, and luckily, I'm a questions guy. I ask my
Yeah.
parents and my mom and stuff like that. But as far as like for the scents and stuff, I mean, for one, I started checking out my competition, seeing what the kind of
the
not
market
trying
looks
to
like.
copycat anybody, but just seeing, okay, what can I compete, what can be different with my line compared to the others.
Right.
I started off with just 4 cents. I started with like three basic scents. I believe it was like um, cinnamon, a mint, a citrus, and one signature scent. So like with the cinnamon, it's called Fire. Mint is called Vintage. Citrus was called Awaken. My signature scent at the time was called Badass with two Z's at the end. It was a rustic earthy scent. That was my signature one. I wanted to have something for one. Okay, boom. I have scents that are appealing. Add some fun to it. Each one has some swagger to it. I have a scent called After Hours, a vanilla musk. A nice, sexy scent. Um, a 16, so it's a lot to name. I'm trying not to name really all of them, but um, it is it was my main focus was to separate myself from the competition. So I started with 4, but the average beer can company might have maybe 2 to 3, right? So I said, okay, let me do something like that no companies have. Let me create a crap ton of sense, and that's pretty much that's what I did. I have 16, and because everybody has different options, I wanted to make it easier for people to choose from, whether they're into strong scents, whether they're into mild sweet scents. I want to make sure everything is comfortable for them, and it wasn't really difficult as far as creating it. I looked at certain ones like you know, if you I mean, I'm not really a good cook, but you can almost kind of compare it to like when people are trying to create meals. I mean, in college, I mean, when you got hungry, look, everything tastes good. You get some ramen, look, everything go good with ramen, right? So that's how I kind of treated with some sense. So like I have a trying to think of one combination when I have. Okay, well, uh, lemon and mint. I have one called Lightning. It's a lemon mint scent. So I'm like, I have mint. What else can go good with mint? Okay, boom. Well, lemon can pair it off with it. You know, kind of a spearmint kind of smell to it. We have a chocolate mint one.
Do you have a vendor for these, or are you making these?
I make these. So I'm bombs, oils, condition shampoos. I personally make those now. We have a line of exfoliating soaps. I provide the recipes, and I do have a person that creates those because they have the machineries for that, as well as my leave-in moisturizer. But I provide the recipes, you know, for that. They just, you know, they have the equipment. But my bombs, oils, and my beard wash, my condition shampoos, I make those.
So how is that? I guess like learning how to do that, because I'm assuming you had to learn that to start the business too, or did you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you know, different learning the different measurements is the kind of like the homework. You know, you want to make sure you don't overdo things, and again, you want to make sure that it's you don't want to overdo certain scents. And it's easier for me because I'm my first tester, right? So it's just mainly just reading and, you know, comparing my notes that I gather. You have certain essential oils. You have like I think 50, excuse me, you have like 50 total essential oils. Majority of those essential oils are installed in my products. I'm big on all natural products. A lot of our products you'll find it like in holistic stores. I'm big on like all natural things. It's great for this game because one thing I will say, like, there's a lot of great products that we assume is good, but is very commercialized, and we don't read labels much. I'm guilty of not reading labels on certain products, so I might say, "Man, this is good," because the label, or not the label, what the commercial says one thing, or the front of it, market wise, is saying it's good, but I make sure I provide my recipes, not verbatim as far as measurements, but just exactly what's in it, just in case if you know someone's allergic to one or the other. Um, it was, I mean, it wasn't too much of a struggle. Again, having the proper measurements. I make the beard oil is pretty uh kind of like easier compared to beard bombs. Beard bombs are a little stiffer, so they will require a certain amount of time, and you know exact. You want to make sure the measurements are precise. Uh, uh, Again, I mean, from my sophomore year until college, that was my homework as far as like mastering. Because trust and believe, my first batch wasn't all magic. My first batch, I don't want to cuss on the show, but it was not the best one, and it was a struggle. I mean, it took probably, I would say, to me, I think it probably took a few months once it really was coming out very good. Like, I mean, it was at the time I was just thinking, okay, I can just really utilize just these two and just call it Christmas. But the more you look into and reading when it comes to, you know, learning about that, you know, just hair in general, you got to learn about you know, different you know, learning about hair bumps, or learning about the medical behind it, learning certain science, which I can't stand science, but but as the subject wise, and it's just homework. I think for me, I'm more of a visual guy, so when I kept on doing it, if I did a bad batch, I had to toss it, I'll redo it, and then it comes familiar. Um, and then it's just it becomes
Built out that
easy.
system and process, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the hard thing was, again, when it comes to this business wise, right? Making sure you're incorporated, making sure you are trademarked and things like that. I think that was like probably a wall that had hit for me, because I want to say, I think incorporated was the one that verifies you within the state. I think trademark is like worldwide. So the trademark takes like, it took me probably like 13 months. And once after like month number 3, you start losing a little patience. I'm like, man, is this ever gonna happen? So you get nervous too, because again, you want to make sure that the name is not taken and stuff like that. But one thing my mom has always said, hey, patience. We talk about 5-year plan. I have a good friend of mine who she owns her own wine company. It's called Shoe Crazy Wine. It's based out of the Richmond area, but in like she's in all of the Walmart stores. She's in so many big retailers in about like, I think 7 or 8 states in the US. And it's her and her daughter, and she said, she had a 7-year plan. And I mean, it's working for her. It's obviously working. So patience. I learned to be a patient person, and that's the one thing all business owners should remember. It's just patience. I mean, just stuff takes time. Rushing is never going to be better. I mean, you think of when we rush to get fast food. Fast food's not good for us, because it's not fully cooked. If you're rushing in the morning, you either gonna forget what deodorant, you're gonna forget to brush your teeth, you're gonna forget. So you gotta take your time. And just patience.
For sure. I think that's a
Great way to end it. Yeah,
great way
the
to
patience,
end this first segment. So from here, let's take a quick break, and then Edom will go with that quote of the day, and then we'll do those segments. All right. So Edom, he's been looking for that quote of the day.
I have it. You
got it. All right. Let's do it.
Quote is, "It's human to ask why. It's the work of the individual to find the answer."
Ooh.
Yeah, just so you guys know, you're not gonna guess this. Nobody said it but me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I was listening to something and they didn't say this like word for word, but like through their thoughts, I kind of like connected and kind of came up with that. Like,
yeah. Can you say that again?
It's human to ask why. It's the work of the individual to find the answer.
I got 2 names in my head. One, because they're talking all about them on the news. The other one is I like sometimes posting quotes here and there on Mondays, just like as a motivational Monday kind of thing. So, can I ask questions like on this person? Am I allowed to do that? Like,
no, I don't. I made that up like from I was listening to something and they were talking about like I forgot what it was. I think it was like life and growing up, and literally like I'm like they didn't say this verbatim, but they throughout what they were saying, I kind of came up with that quote. I don't know if anyone actually said it, but I don't know if there's been like quotes close to it, but I came up with I don't know.
Based off of what they said. Got you. That's dope. But he said say it one more time.
It's human to ask why.
It's human to ask why.
It's the work of the individual to find the answer.
I like that. That feels like I was watching Godfather of Harlem, and there were like 2 scenes.
That's my show right there.
Good show, right? It's a good show. So there was like 2 scenes where the dude was like, initiative, and you have to take initiative, right? Like he was talking to one of the dudes, one of the little guys who's trying to like suck up to the boss. But you're saying like you have to take initiative. And like I don't know, that kind of like stuck with me, like in a little bit, even though like he's talking about whatever in the scene, but it's just like true. Like you have to take initiative and things, and he was like, it's not always pretty much he was saying like you don't have to wait for the boss to tell you what to do, right? Like if you see that the boss has an issue wrong, or if you see the boss has something wrong, like take initiative to go fix it. That's how you stand out. Right? Like that's what like the scene was about. So that's like that's the first thing that kind of came to my head when he said that. Like it's human task hard, but it's up to the individual to find the answer. Kind of like take that initiative, right? Like take that initiative to go find out.
Yeah, just on yourself or whoever it may be. Yeah, just like go figure it. Yeah. So, but it kind of speaks for itself. But I think it's spoken or written very well.
It really is. Like I'm like, that sounds like something Sidney Poitier might say or something, like, or Elon Musk. Like I'm like,
what would your take on that, or like your, yeah?
I mean, honestly, I mean the same as like you mentioned. I mean, take initiative. I mean, for one, I've had, straight out of college, I mean, I worked at, businesses, part-time, just to, while I was waiting on full-time positions, I worked at jobs that I disliked tremendously, couldn't stand it, but I knew that you lead by example. Whatever I did, I wanted to make sure that, my supervisors or my boss will look and they can always say, you know what, hey, he did, you want them to remember you regardless. So like, for example, I worked part-time at Costco's when fresh out of college, hated it. But I mean, I met great people. It taught me a lot when it comes to customer service. And I bring that into, my business, and just those little things that I did. I didn't even think I was making that huge of not effort, but I didn't think I was doing much, but bosses or other people notices that, and it goes a long way. So definitely, don't wait for somebody to tell you to. Just if you see an issue wrong with it, do so. Make yourself known. Make yourself known, because at the end of the day, it's other people that are competing with you.
Yeah, I kind of my what I get from it is also you might to the taking initiative point. People might end up becoming maybe a bystander in their own lives. They just go through the motions through every day, and things might pass them by. They might feel like they're sad or something's missing, and it might be because you just let things, you just go with the flow. You're not really taking any initiative or any like real hold of your life. You're just kind of literally sitting and going on autopilot, being in a literal spectator to your own life. That's how
And fellas, could I also say one quick thing too? Because I was trying to remember my thought previously. So I'm a journaler. I love journaling things. When I was in college, or even like as a kid, I always used to journal like business ideas, right? Some of them probably didn't make any sense at all. Some of them I think would work. I always tell my friends and just close family, like, whatever sudden idea that you have, put it on paper. Because if you just say, whatever, this ain't never gonna work, somebody in a different state, somebody in a different country will grab it, and then you will look on the commercial and you will see like an umbrella folded the opposite direction. The umbrella that like, I mean, little simple things like that. It's like, why didn't I think of that? Well, why didn't you think of it? Or why didn't you pursue it? It's like, I feel as though people are, it's always a gamble, but they're almost like scared to take that risk. I mean, regardless of how much it might cost to invest in it. I mean, I saw another commercial with it's like a pouch that you slide in the crack of your car seat. So if you ever drop anything, everything falls in that pouch. You just slide it out, empty it out.
Forbidden section.
What?
Like the forbidden section where stuff falls and you gotta like,
I mean, it's just look, and stuff is gonna continue to be clever and clever, and probably most people probably thought of that idea. But again, it's just like taking that risk, taking that gamble, and not being scared when it comes to pursuing, because this entrepreneurship is not a scared field at all. You can't be scared. You can't be hesitant. You have to be, confident all the way. You have to, learn when to listen, and just, gotta take that gamble.
For sure. Can you end it off? Say it one more time.
One more time. The quote is, it's human to ask why. It's the work of the individual to find the answer.
Got it. All right. So from there, let's end it off on this last segment. So few things actually. So you mentioned you have a foundation, you have a podcast, and trucking, right? So I want to start with the foundation. That's community work. Why the foundation? Why is community important to you?
I just have a huge passion for helping others in need. My parents always taught me, hey, when you see people that in need of help them. It can sound kind of corny because it's like you're always taught, treat others the way you want to be treated and all that good stuff. But I was raised a very blessed kid. Again, I attended private school pretty much all my life. I've you know went to travel to countries at a young age, many times. I met great people. I've just been very blessed, and I know that not everybody in the world is blessed like with my thing. So I want to help, bless others, be a blessing to others. And the foundation was just, it was something I always wanted to do. For one, not just helping out the youth, because we started off the Revolution Foundation. It started off as an annual back to school drive where I would buy. My first year I bought like 250 backpacks. I had other people donate the supplies to fill up those backpacks. And my goal was to give out 250. We end up exceeding like 365, something like that. And it was just seeing families in need, seeing the kids being excited. I mean, it was a huge thing. We had we were giving out free haircuts. We were giving out free gift certificates to salon for the girls, face painting, food, music. It was a good time. I mean, it was some kids that didn't even, that needed a haircut, but they were there to get that backpack, and they were excited to get that backpack with supplies. And those acts of kindness, man, stuff like that warms my heart. So we started off doing that, and then I wanted to grow it into start a mentorship program. I've been very fortunate to meet and become close friends with a lot of great and successful guys with different business backgrounds. Some work in the fashion industry. Some work in accounting, finance. Different culinary, the military, on the political standpoint. Just different backgrounds. And I'm like, I want to come together and definitely educate kids 13 through 18, because in certain income, low income areas, kids think that sports is their only way out. And there's nothing wrong with sports. I love sports. I play sports all my life. My whole family is, big on sports.
Yeah.
But I also know that sports shouldn't be your only option. There are other options. There's other ways. And I mean, we be talking all night as far as like, which the city can provide, maybe some libraries next to the basketball courts, or some aquatic centers, or just stuff to get their options. Like, okay, I could maybe pursue swimming or become a swimming instructor, or I can read some more books and read up on other things like that. So I want to help provide just there's other options. Just the fact that there are more options. I talk with kids like 14, and it was a kid that was telling me he wanted to be a pro baseball player. I'm like, you can do it as long as you put your mind to it. But I said, but also, wouldn't it be cool too to maybe create a certain helmet, right? I see you see the growth in like the helmet protection in baseball when guys come at bat. It started off with just a simple hat. Now they're having a whole bat to cover their face because so many guys have been hit in the face. So little things like that, I would like kind of throw in plugs. But I said, no, you keep pursuing baseball, man. But whether it's going to be coaching, whether it's going to be, creating some of the equipment, or finding something based on the need that you can say, hey, look, I really enjoy baseball, but the baseball bats, man, I just wish it was a certain, hey, man, put it to paper. You never know. You never know when the opportunity happens. So that's kind of like where the foundation piece comes into play. I never try to be a leader, but I always try to at least, just lead by examples in certain things that I do. So whether they see me, you know, just helping others, or I just want to help change the narrative. That's kind of like my whole mission. I was mentioning for the show. It's just all about changing the narrative. As far as with that foundation, we during COVID, we were unable to have our second annual back to school drive, but last year we had our, technically it was our third year, but our second back to school drive. We had a goal of giving out it was like 500. Yeah, it was 500 backpacks, but we ended up giving out, I believe, like 615 or something like that. And we had the sheriff department come by. They were doing identity called Identity Kids, doing identities for the kids, free identification cards for the kids. We had a 91.1 FM had partnered with us for this one. It was just a great time, and yeah, of course, free haircuts. It's fun. It's fun blessing others, and it's fun. I want to, and I say that not in a bragful way, but I love helping people in need. That's just my main focus. I mean, I see someone homeless, it breaks your heart. If I see a young kid with dirty clothes and not well put together shoes, I mean, stuff like that breaks your heart. So I just hope that I can continue to help build that up, and help help be a blessing to others.
Sure.
It's really admirable. Yeah.
I like that a lot. So what would you say is like the biggest lesson that you learned since you started and the foundation?
The biggest lesson learned, customer service goes a long way, and I say that we don't have bad customer service with Rugged, but we have a lot of loyal repeat customers, and I mean, to the point where they become a reference to others, just like the barbers. Hey, if I never would have met you guys if it wasn't for hey man, they might have been a customer, or just maybe heard through the grapevine, but definitely just customer service is a great thing that I think will always never worry a business owner. My mom is a great example. I mentioned earlier, she's an associate broker in real estate. Been doing it for 34 years. During like the pandemic period, and just really the past few years, she's always had repeat clientele, but she's never had to really promote herself. And she's like, hey, I've had sold to parents, their kids, and now their grandkids, and they just all share with their friends and stuff. She's like, it goes a long way, and you have to provide the best service to people, because again, the worst thing you can get is a bad review from somebody. And we make sure that our setup is great. We make sure that we answer every question. If they have any questions, we provide an email service on our website. So if you have any questions, boom, we email you right away. We make sure our shipping is at a great, at least no more than like 5 days. So we're good with that, whether they're local or out of state, or either on another coast. We make sure that customer service is key. I would say that's a big lesson with that. I feel like I'm missing some like other ones, but that's just the first thing that really just comes to mind as far as just the stuff I continue to learn in businesses. Great customer service goes a long way. Networking, but networking is key. Networking. I'm a member in about 3 networking groups. I'm a Hampton Chamber of Commerce. We are Black Brands. I'm a member of, which is basically all Black-owned businesses within the area, and I think a little further out on the other side of the peninsula. It's just you definitely want to build a great relationship, and when it comes to building each other's brands. My friend, he's a custom clothier. He has a great shop in Virginia Beach, where he does this a one-on-one clientele base. And he asked like, hey, I would love to have your products displayed there, so when they leave out with a custom suit, boom, I can keep point them to like, not just the shirts, not just the shoes, not just the ties, but also your products. And I mean, that's all based on networking. Everything is just networking is key. So you definitely want to be involved in a great group of people, a networking group. If you're starting a business, you definitely want to build that network, and that's the best advice and lesson learned I can definitely say.
For sure. I like that. Anything want to go?
No, I mean, yeah, customer service is key. After doing what's the word, retail for so many years before I got a full-time job. Yeah, customer service really is key. For sure. So.
Don't you miss working in retail, man? I know you do. I know you
do. No. The customer's always right was a lie. People always come in there trying to test you, but we made it, bro. We out.
Hey, man. I always say, that the job that you hate can help provide for your dreams. So everybody eventually everybody's gonna have to have that 9 to 5 one day. I know a lot of people that say, man, I'm not a 9 to 5 dude. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's gonna be harder, but I mean, that's I'm not a 9 to 5, but I worked a 9 to 5.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's funny because we spoke about that last episode, that we were talking about using experiences from your past to help you out in the present or in the future. Like maybe bad experiences, for example, like you just said, customer service at retail. You didn't like working at Costco, but then how many years later now you have your own brand. Now you need that same customer service skills that you were complaining about using while you're over at Costco, right? Exactly. So it's like, but now you're using those past experiences, so being able to pick up on them. So hey, that connect that we were just talking about that last episode. Connects. So everything connects. So before we end it, that was a great conversation. We have to get that song.
Yeah.
From we asked earlier, right? So do you have a song that either relates to your business, your brand, or something you just been listening to lately?
I would say I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan. Kendrick, we gonna be all right, because as a business owner, there's always gonna be some stressful moments.
Right.
So
really?
It's gotta be very stressful moments when it comes to business. And when during the pandemic, my first office was a very small office when I started. Was in downtown Norfolk. It was in the building where my CPA, who has been like an uncle to me. He's been my mom's CPA for years, and he had an office space. So I had a small office space for my business, and eventually I said, well, you know what? I'm a Chesapeake guy. I need some more space. So I moved into a office and warehouse space in Chesapeake during the pandemic. During that period as well was we were fortunate to be now on we got on Walmart online during the pandemic. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just panicking, because when you start a business, especially like when you're selling products, you just assume that retail is the way to go, because when whether you're on a busy road, people can always drive by. It's easier for people to approach you. And sometimes e-commerce starts off kind of slow, because you're the one that has to promote, whether it's through social media or you have to invest in promotion to bring people to your website. So again, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm hoping I can, make a living from it. Again, I'm engaged too. And it's just, you want to make sure everything, I have many moments where I panic, y'all can't see the top of my head. It balls out a little bit, but whiskey is a good thing. Thank you, Jesus, for that. But you have your stressful moments. And I think with the pandemic, it just taught how the fall on retail and the growth in, online shopping is the future. Everybody goes to Amazon, everybody shops online, everything, right? So I'm always worrying myself, but again, I can definitely, listen to that song and just kind of like saying, all right, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right, whether it's, in good times or bad times or anything. You just always got to tell yourself, we gonna be all right. So you can leave that in business or if something worse happens, I mean, hey, just know you're gonna be all right. So wake up every morning, got clothes on your back, food on the table, and stuff like that. So
I like that.
So
You're gonna be all right.
yeah.
That might be the episode title.
How can the people find you?
You're welcome. You're welcome.
How can the people find you?
Okay, so they can find me on my socials. It's my name at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Arrington Gavin on Facebook. Please follow Rugged Evo on Instagram as well at Rugged Evo. Rugged Evolution Beard Care on Facebook. Rugged Evo TV on YouTube. Again, I podcast as well, so you can watch the podcast visual on there as well. We're on multiple platforms as well as Roku. It's so many socials at our Smooth Club on IG. At Rugged Evo on TikTok as well. And just support. I truly appreciate it. Follow if you're interested. Hey, DM is perfectly fine, or you can email me and all that good stuff. So I truly thank you, fellas, for this awesome interview. I wish it never end, but I definitely, man. Hey, I can't wait. I would love to come back. I enjoyed this.
For sure. We definitely have to connect in the future, stay in contact. Man, thank you again for taking your time out tonight. That was a really dope conversation. Got the
and I'm sorry, my team will kill me if I don't mention it. May 13th, because we're speaking about the foundation. May 13th, our foundation is hosting a comedy night. It's the first of our comedy series. What we're doing, it's called Laughter for a Cause, Laughter for a Cause, and Laughter for Tomorrow's Future. Let me actually look at my flyer real quick before I know I'm like rushing off. I'm because they will kill me if I get this wrong. Hold on. Laughter for Tomorrow's Future comedy show. It's going to be in downtown Norfolk on 35th Street. We're going to have my good friend Quincy Carr. He's going to be headlining it. We're actually going to have two other comedians, Dave Champion, Brene Williams. Tickets are on Eventbrite on sale right now. Again, the show is Laughter for Tomorrow's Future. Tickets are $40. It's going to be Friday the 13th, May 13th. We're going to have food, drinks, you name it. Great time. And just, great fun. So we're hosting that, and that's what we're having up in May. So wanted to make sure I put that plug in.
Sounds like a good time. Sounds fun. All right. So before we end off, make sure you're following us on all platforms.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Everybody Eats Show, Twitter, EBE_show. Tax class is up on YouTube, so go check that out. Tax season again is over, but you can always learn. Go check that out and tell a friend. Everybody eats.
All right. See you guys next week. Peace.